Well, let's get back into it. I think at this point now, Jeff is talking about his relationship with Wendi and what he saw leading up to, during, and then after Dan Markel was killed. So let's see what Jeff has to say about Wendi Adelson. He's over here spilling the tea like he's Wendy Williams, man. Hey, shout out to Jeff. Oh my God.
In April, she's coming off the SSRIs. Her behavior is
coming
coming off the antidepressants.
Okay.
So I study that. That's my areas. I study psychiatric medications.
Right.
So
I just got to be able to explain it. If this ever goes anywhere else, I got to be explained so I understand it and the lay person can understand.
I understand. So yeah, she's coming off psych meds, but she's doing that against my advice. Not with the help of a clinician. You're supposed to go to a doctor, have him help you get off. She did not do that. And she was dropping her dosage very, very rapidly, which is usually recommended to take some time and go slow. She was on a very high dose of Lexapro, like double the normal dose.
She was on drugs.
And so in this time period, one of the reasons I stuck around, even though it was so crazy, was I thought it might be a passing thing because I thought she was having withdrawal effects. Some of the physical ones like dizziness and stuff like that. But sometimes people's behavior gets really weird and that, so you give them a break while they're coming off. So I was giving her a break.
What is the Lexapro for?
It's for depression. She was diagnosed as depressed. And her dad, the dentist, was writing her scripts to what she shouldn't be doing to help her come down the dosage. Because you want to switch to the liquid so you can slowly go down. But
wow.
She ignored all my advice. I was constantly, you may have seen this in the emails if you looked at it, I was constantly cautioning her, texting her saying you need to go slow, slow, slow. I made her get a therapist. I said, I'm not going to even talk to you about this unless you at least have somebody you're talking to that can monitor your mental health, because I saw she was just spinning out of control. And she wasn't that controlled to begin with, but it was getting worse. Her drinking was really increasing in April. And she had times where she's just losing her mind. I mean, with the kids in the house, drinking a bottle and a half of wine by herself, falling down in the bathroom, bruises. I flew to a trip to Chicago when I came back. I had to go right from the airport to the house because she was just doing so poorly. So she was just not well.
Absolutely insane.
Fast forward to May. We have that incident in the coffee shop that we discussed that Officer Hale and you were. I assume that's one of the reasons you guys were interested in talking to me in the first place.
He knew she was crazy.
But just to remind you, I just walked into All Saints Coffee, and there's my girlfriend with another guy. There's no stalking, and she knew that.
But there's been no complaint of stalking against you?
There has been informally. She tells people this.
Yeah, but I'm saying there's no...
Oh, no formal legal
You shouldn't have been contacted from anybody from this department
never,
for a
never.
complaint about it?
No, never. I'm not worried about that. I didn't bring an attorney because I didn't do anything. I'm not worried about it. But that was a big deal in our relationship. And
right, because you see her there and she's with this guy and you don't know who the guy is. If maybe I got that wrong. You knew that she was seeing a guy?
That's one of the things that concerned me, is that she would bring him up from time to time. And there was other signs. I mean, there's, I think, 5 to 10 other men. I was in denial about it in this time period. That's not a crime, obviously. But
they were dating.
She's very impulsive, very erratic, doesn't think things through. She will do them and then worry about the consequences later. She was remarkably sloppy about cheating on me in terms of, that's what was interesting. Up until about early June, she was covering her tracks pretty well, actually. I'd heard of Daniel Sack. I knew he was an ex-boyfriend. But after that fight, we had not a huge fight, we had a mild fight about that. And things started to get really, really strange. And this is what I think I had a hard time getting across to Investigator Hale. So we have that fight. She goes to Portland for a weekend. She comes back. It's now June. In June, I was walking around saying to all my friends, I don't know what is going on. Something is going on. We had a very frank talk about that and decided to stay together. She said, it's one guy. He's gone. He literally moved out of the area, as you probably know. So Sack, yeah. So I said, okay. One thing about Wendi is this is where I worry about the crime. She's very easily influenced. She doesn't have much of a sense of self. And when she was with Danny, she kind of became Danny's extension of Danny, attached herself to him. She didn't attach herself to Sack. He was into polyamory and having multiple partners. He's bisexual.
A succubus, I think that's what they call it.
Well, so she started doing all this crazy stuff. Sack was encouraging her, from what she said, to have sex with lots of people, not just him. I worry about her. So I've just seen her, and doesn't want to be controlled, but she does want to be controlled. I mean,
so she's crazy.
Into a lot of sex stuff and things where she wants to be told what to do. And one of the things I worry about is that somebody came up with this idea and she went along with it because she doesn't know how to say no. She hates confrontation, things like that. So in June, I was walking around saying to my friends, I don't know what's going on. It's just uncanny to think back on it now. I said, I don't know what's going on, but something's gonna happen. Like, it feels like there's drum beats. It feels like we're moving towards something. It's really, really strange. I don't know what's going on. And one of the strange things that happened was we had a trip to California scheduled to see my parents the week that Danny was killed. And in early June, she rescheduled that trip. And I said, what's the problem with the trip? She says, well, I'm worried we'll get stuck in the airport and we won't be back on Friday. I have to pick up the kids from school. And I said, but we're coming back Thursday night. It's not winter. We're not going. Atlanta in the winter, I would understand. Mm-hmm. There's no way we're going to get stuck. We can rent a car. We have friends that could babysit. This is strange. I said, fine, cancel the trip.
And that was going to be in early June?
The trip was going to be the week that Danny was killed.
Oh, okay. That was the trip?
11th to 19th was supposed to be the trip. So we had a trip planned, and she was real strange about the fact that we had to reschedule this trip. It just didn't make sense. And I even said, if you just don't want to go because you don't feel comfortable right now, just tell me, that's cool. She goes, no, I have to pick up the kids from school that day. I just have to. I don't want to do anything that would stop that, And she said, I'll miss the kids at that point. I said, okay. A couple of days later, I say, well, she said, but I want to spend that time with you. I was leaving for Tennessee on Friday. And she said, I want to spend that Monday through Thursday with you. I said, great.
It's a setup.
You want to go to St. Augustine? She loves the beach. She hates Tallahassee. This, again, is just very strange and suspicious to me. Wendi Adelson tells me, what I want to do is a staycation. I want to stay home in Tallahassee. I said, you want to stay in Tallahassee the hottest week of the year? He goes, yeah, we'll go to Tom Brown Park, we'll do this. I said, you hate it here. I'm offering to take you away. Why wouldn't you? It's just really strange at the time. I remember saying to my friends, like, Wendi wants... People laughed. I said, Wendi says she wants to stay in Tallahassee. Like, she leaves town. Sure, every chance she gets, she leaves town. Why would she want to stay? I said, I don't know. I have no idea. I finally managed to convince her to do a trip to St. Augustine, but we had to schedule it so that we were back basically by the time of the shooting. So that was just strange. It was peculiar at the time. And when we scheduled that trip to St. Augustine, I was sitting her, she has her calendar open. You have to schedule everything with her. That's just how she was. There was just, at the time, I can remember sitting in her office trying to schedule this, and there was this weirdness about that weekend. We're scheduling other things, no problem, but that weekend, she just was intent on. That day meant something to me before Danny was shot. Like, there's something weird about that week. I don't know what it is, but there's something weird about that week. If we keep going through June, other things I noticed in June that were really crazy.
Let me back up a second so I get this right.
Yeah.
July 11th through 19th, you're supposed to go to California.
Yeah.
Leave on the 11th, come back on the 19th.
I can look it up for you. It might be 12th to 19th, but it was the week that Danny was shot. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when is she saying, I can't do it? What date? What date are we talking about when she's telling you I can't do it?
Early June. I can pull up exactly.
Early June.
Early June, yeah.
So you're supposed to go to California with her, just you two.
We have plane tickets purchased. And she sat me down, I think it was June 5th or 7th. I will find out for you if you would like.
Yeah.
And she just said, I can't do that. And it just didn't make sense. It just didn't make any sense.
So she'd already said that date was that window of...
She said, this is the 1 week I have to go see your parents. And I
11th
said,
through the 19th.
But that was in May we booked them. Then we have the flight. I find out about Danielle's sack. And afterwards she says, I feel comfortable with that. She just had an appointment with her therapist, and she said, my main concern is I want to be able to see the kids on that day, the day that Danny was shot. We had people volunteering to babysit if they needed to, if we were delayed. We weren't going to be delayed. And she insisted it was not because she didn't want to go with me. She wanted to spend that week with me. She just wanted to spend that week with me in Tallahassee. She did not want to leave Tallahassee that week.
Now he's spilling all the tea.
Okay.
It was weird. He's right.
And I mean, there's 3 different times. There's that time, then there's the staycation thing where I'm like, what are you talking about? That's bizarre. And then there was when we scheduled the trip to St. Augustine. If I fast forward a little bit, we had the trip in St. Augustine planned until July 15th or 16th, and she canceled that the last second. So 3 different times she canceled plans with me in the 2 or 3 day period with Danny.
What you're leading to is this is highly suspicious that she needs to be here on the 18th of July.
Yeah, just anecdotally, subjectively, whatever it's worth, it was really weird. It was really strange. I know this woman. I know her really well. And there was something at the time with me saying to my friends, what's going on? It's just really, really strange. It's just really...
She'd never done anything like this before?
No, she had canceled and recanceled, and she did that all the time. Completely disorganized person. But it usually made sense. It usually had a reason. And usually the reason was something about court with Danny, or the... parents wanted to come down to South Florida. Every other time but this, I understood. This time I was completely puzzled. It didn't make sense. And it was very, very strange.
Okay, so she cancels this trip to California. Did you go anyway?
I did
No,
not.
of course you didn't. You were okay.
Wish I had.
Yeah. And so what happens to these plane tickets?
Her ticket, I have no idea.
So she bought her own?
Yeah, we bought separate plane tickets. As a matter of fact, I don't know that she did buy a plane ticket.
Oh.
But she told me she did.
Same airline? Same flight?
I can find out for you. I can send you my reservation. Because we had a discussion about getting our seats moved together, so I think she probably bought a ticket, actually. But I never saw the ticket.
It wasn't discussed any further?
I can't recall.
Okay, so that's the first thing. In early June, she says, Jeff, I got to be back on that Friday the 18th.
Exactly.
To pick up the kids. I guess that's going to be the first of her week with the kids, maybe?
Yeah, she gets the kids back after having, because they went to 7-day schedule in the summer.
Right.
And she's going, I'll miss the kids. I said, we'll be back. I said, if you don't want to go, just tell me I don't want to go. No, I want to go. I just got to be back for the kids. There was a special...
Okay, why not adjust the flight or just the...
Well, she had the kids the previous week. This was her one free week. She's also booked all summer.
Well, the 18th is a Friday.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, so,
because she is
going
an attorney.
backwards, the 11th should have been a Thursday, I'm thinking.
I can look it up, but it just wasn't. She was booked week by week throughout the summer.
She doesn't even have any school stuff, right? I mean, I don't know if you're off during that time.
No, I'm completely off. She has a lot of obligations to her parents. Her parents want her down in Miami every chance she gets. All through this county, there's parents.
Okay.
All right, so three different occasions. This at the time, it's like, oh, what's going on with the 18th of July or the week of the 18th? What is this? I don't understand what this is.
So the first thing is the California trip, and it's next.
Yes.
Then you want to take her to St. Augustine, because
Yeah, she wants to stay, and that's just bizarre.
But did you ever make plans to go to St. Augustine?
Yeah, so a week later, again, we sat in front of the calendar, and it was really strange. There was this hesitancy about that weekend. She says, I'll go to St. Augustine, but we have to be back early on Friday.
Early on Friday?
Early on Friday.
What does early on Friday mean?
We were going to wake up and come straight back from St. Augustine, so we would have got up at 7, been here by 9 or 10.
Okay.
She had to pick up the kids from school until 4. It didn't make sense.
Okay.
So I said fine, and my thing was I was going to drop her off and then drive up to Atlanta. I was going to drop her off and go. So that was just strange. It just stuck in my head. Like, what?
Because your trip to your friend up in Tennessee, what was the date you were supposed to go?
I was supposed to leave at about 10 or 11 a.m. on Friday the 18th.
Okay.
Because I was supposed to the original trip was to go straight to Atlanta, stay the night in Atlanta, then go to Tennessee the next day. So I was supposed to leave here at 10 or 11 and get there at 4 or 5.
On Friday afternoon?
Friday afternoon, yeah.
Okay.
That changed, but that was the original.
No, because you left on Thursday.
Yeah, I did.
All right, well, let's jump to that so I can fill in this blank.
Yeah.
Why did you leave on Thursday?
We'd had a huge fight in late June. I discovered some other cheating. I was very upset with her. And
Jeff, come on, man.
She had sent me had sort of broken up, basically.
He said 5 guys and
but
then
she put me on a
guy?
7-day hold.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I remember that.
Yeah.
She sent you an email or
Yeah,
something?
Exactly. So the night before, I was so upset. I was just like, fuck this, I'm going. I just could get out of town. I was upset. But that's something my friends have said to me that I've never said this, but my friends have said, Jeff, because sometimes it's hard for me to see this clearly, they can see it more clearly. Jeff, you do realize that if you left Friday at 11 a.m. for Atlanta, what this would have looked like, you would have been in custody. You're really.
Oh. Okay.
Now, I'm not saying that, but some of my friends, it was like a clumsy attempt to take attention off her and put it on me. I'm not saying that's true. It sounds a little far-flung to me. It sounds a little clumsy to me. But she knew exactly when I was going to leave. I'm a late riser, and she didn't know I changed my plans, obviously. So I'm glad I changed my plans. I wouldn't blame you guys for being a little more suspicious if you didn't. I mean, if I leave at 11, I don't get a flat tire. You just see me driving north 10 minutes after Danny showed up.
That would be bad.
So that looks suspicious to a lot of people.
Yep.
I know it makes it sound like a criminal mastermind. It may sound crazy to you, but that's what my friends say. So can I go back to the stuff in June?
Absolutely, I'm sorry.
You know, any questions you want to ask? And I know I talk fast, and
just a little faster than I'm used to.
My dad's from Boston, so I'm an adopted Southerner, but I haven't slowed down yet. So, in June, these are just my impressions, but there was 5 or 6 times in June I'm playing with the kids. We had a good family life, terrible romantic relationship because she was cheating me all the time.
So
but I'm home with
lucky
the kids with
her.
her. Nice family life.
You at her house out on
Every time, yeah.
Cameron.
Exactly, off Aqua Ridgewood, Lane, nice house. So 4 or 5 times in late June, I'm playing with the kids, reading them stories. I was very close to Ben in particular, spent a lot of time with those children.
Man.
And I look out of the corner of my eye, and Wendi would be in the kitchen crying for no reason whatsoever. And at the
this
time,
lady was
what it looked like to
crazy.
me is, she's
Guys, at what point do you just tell a person like this to get help? At what point are you going to see someone having this type of erratic behavior and be like, that might not be normal? I mean, that thing must have been. Fire. Wendi must have been putting it down, because I don't know what Jeff had going on.
like taking it all
Jeff
in.
needs help too. Yeah, I agree, Amy. Jeff was getting his
what's wrong?
world rocked.
Or make up some
Good
bullshit
God.
story. She lied so much, it was hard to know. But in retrospect, it makes me worry a lot because it looked like she was wrestling with something. It wasn't suspicious, it was just weird. But in retrospect, it's like, wow, let's assume she knew something was going to happen. That's how a person might react, She made a choice, but...
That's late June?
That's late June. So that happened enough times that I talked to my friends about it. Also in June, Wendi's a pretty good liar if you get in front of her for an hour or 2 at a time. And Danny's put that in court documents. It's not a secret that she lies a lot. It's how she navigates the world. But she has a problem with her lying in that I found out she cheated on me with Daniel Sack because she kind of accidentally told me by talking about him all the time, and she's just sloppy. So longitudinally, she couldn't keep her story straight. In the short term, 4 hours, 8 hours at a time, okay. Over a month, saying, well, what about that thing? The stories start, But she talks constantly. She's very extroverted, very narcissistic, very focused on herself, very self-involved. Well, what she was talking about in June, relocation to Miami. How terrible it was to be stuck in Tallahassee. Crying like, I got stuck here, I didn't choose this, I can't stand it. And she talked about the fact that the only way she could ever relocate is if something happened to Danny.
Now, did she actually say that?
Yeah, she did. Yeah.
This is the first time you've mentioned that.
I don't think so. I think I did mention that to Investigator Hale.
Okay.
I missed it. Well, no, it wasn't. I had 3 interviews with Investigator Hale. And
okay.
The next 2 was me trying to tell him things like this, and I don't think he was hearing me.
Okay.
So, no, she didn't say that I killed Danny. She didn't say that word for word. But it was, because I was saying, hey, we're about to, get serious here. Are you going to be here? Because she hated it so much. I need to know what's going to happen. And she's like, well, the only way let me give you the context. The only way I could leave is if something happened to Danny. But if that did happen, that would be a tough decision. I would probably need to go back to Miami to be with my parents. So that scenario came from her. But it was a response to a question from me, so I mean, I guess I need to be fair about that one.
Sure.
But it was, and it's true, right? I mean, it was. I asked if Danny might move with her. She said she would not be willing to do that. But she was talking about that.
She would not be willing to do that.
Yeah,
No, she didn't. Well, Danny had job offers from all over the country constantly, and she didn't want to live in Houston or St. Louis or things like that. I mean, she was miserable here. She was here just because she came with Danny. She didn't like her job. She didn't like the area. She didn't like split custody. I don't know that people knew how upset she was. I mentioned to you before you came into the room when I said this, but this is the time period. I don't know the exact day. I'm so distracted by relationship stuff, I can't quite remember. But she told me that Charlie had looked into having Danny killed in the summer of 2013. She meant it dead serious. I wish to God I'd follow up on that. At the time, trying to figure out us, and I thought, well, Charlie's crazy. I can imagine that, but sort of.
Wendi told him that Charlie said he had looked into having Danny killed. Oh my.
He told me that Charlie had looked into having Danny killed in the summer of 2013. She meant it dead serious. I wish to God I'd follow up on that. At the time, trying to figure out us, and I thought, well, Charlie's crazy. I can imagine that, but certainly he's not crazy enough to do that.
Jeez,
so
man.
I didn't worry about it.
This is
That's your interpretation.
This is absolutely insane.
No, let's back up.
Yeah, go ahead.
Let's get into the context of your conversation with her where that comes up about Charlie.
Please.
So
she just, she's talking about Danny. She's completely...
Where are we at?
We're at her house in the living room in late June.
In late June of 2013.
Yeah, 2014, yeah.
I'm sorry, 2014.
Yeah, late June. And you know what, this might have even been, this is sometime between June 20th and the Monday before Danny was shot.
Okay.
And I want to say it was right before, but I don't trust my memory on that, the date. And she's talking about Danny because it's all she ever talked about. Danny wasn't a human being, he was Satan.
He was what?
Yeah.
He was Satan.
Satan, okay.
Yeah. And what was real strange about this was that in January, February, March, they had a lot of court stuff, and I could see why she'd be so pissed off at Danny. Danny had calmed down. He liked his new girlfriend. The judge had read him the riot act in court when they went to court the one time and told the other attorney, you need to calm your client down and stop having your client write his own legal briefs. I'm sick of reading this crap. You know, Danny was going to get his butt handed to him by the court, and Wendi was going to have to concede a couple things, but she was going to win, everybody thought. And he had calmed down. He really had. So I was trying to say, maybe we could talk about Danny a little less. Danny's chill. Danny's happy with Amy. This is good. This is good for us, you know? And I was starting to see Danny a little more realistically at that point. So she's in the middle of these conversations where she's just ranting and raving about Danny. Very angry with Danny. She's very sensitive, and the worst thing you could do for Wendi is point out that she's not perfect. And that's what Danny represented to her is, he said, you're a liar. You know, things like that. Anyway, she just comes out of the blue, and I said, well, I just wish something, I can't remember exactly what I said, but I was like, you know, this isn't going to ever be fixed in the way you want it. This is, you're linked to this man for your life. You know, there's no fix for this, but you have to fix what you think and feel. Yeah. And she said, well, you know, Charlie did look into having him killed last summer. He said it would cost about $15,000.
Oh my gosh.
$15,000?
That's right. It seems cheap to me, but you would know better than I.
Wow.
It's
it would cost $15,000 to get rid of their problem.
I want to make sure I understand this completely.
Please.
So June, what was the date?
Between June 20th and March 14th, let's say. I think it's probably I think it's closer to July. Between June 20th and July 14th. I think it's closer to July 14th.
Why would she tell him that? You go through all this trouble.
She says, you know, Charlie
did actually look into having him killed last summer. And he was told it would cost $15,000. And one of Charlie's...
This is just paraphrased, but I want to make sure I understand. Yeah. Charlie did look into having...
Danny killed last summer.
Wow.
It would cost about $15,000. And that's not exactly word for word, but that's pretty close to what she said.
Yeah, it's enough.
Wish to God I had followed up. But how do you respond to that? What do you say?
What did you say?
I changed the subject to us. I was interested in working our relationship out.
Did she ever bring that up again?
No. Never again.
Wow, guys, what do y'all think about this? Is this enough? Is this enough to indict someone? You know what they say. You know how the saying goes about a ham sandwich. Oh, man, it is not looking good for Wendi at all. Let me know what y'all think about this in the comments and in the chat.